It all started with a massive price gap. Those profits bought airplanes, then submarines, then government officials, then judges, and eventually, an entire legal system that served his empire. This is the story of Pablo Escobar, the drug lord who built the largest cocaine empire in history, amassed an estimated $30 billion fortune, and became one of the richest people in the world, according to Forbes. In 1983, inside a secluded room on the outskirts of Medellin, Colombia, the chief accountants of the Medellín Cartel faced an unprecedented financial crisis. They had more cash than they could physically count. Every week, the organization raked in an average of $420 million. Because the bulk of it consisted of small denomination bills from the US market, the physical volume of the currency was staggering. To optimize the workflow, they stopped counting and transitioned to weighing money to determine its default value. Monthly, the cartel spent $2,500 solely on rubber bands to hold the stacks of cash together. On the corporate balance sheet, they recorded a fixed risk depreciation expense, a 10% annual revenue write-off amounting to roughly $2 billion, completely wiped out due to rodent damage or underground rotting. From a macroeconomic perspective, Pablo Escobar was not just a violent kingpin, he was a tycoon who ruthlessly executed a supply monopoly strategy based on a rudimentary equation, the net profit margin of geographic arbitrage. In the early 1980s, the cost to manufacture 1 kilogram of pure cocaine in the Colombian jungle, including purchasing raw coca leaves, gasoline, sulfuric acid, and labor, ranged from just $2,000 to $3,000. However, the moment that Dina's same cargo bypassed borders and landed on the streets of Miami, its wholesale price instantly skyrocketed to between $50,000 and $70,000. Once broken down for retail, its value topped $100,000. The profit margin reached over 3,000%. The world's largest legal corporations only dream of net profit margins between 20% and 30%. This massive geographic price disparity between rock-bottom production costs in South America and sky-high consumption value in North America was the ultimate incentive that drove Escobar to industrialize his global logistics supply chain. Before Escobar arrived, this market was extremely fragmented. Contraband was smuggled manually by mullahs, couriers, hiding a few kilograms in false-bottom suitcases, or swallowing them on commercial flights. This method was far too small in scale to satisfy the surging demand of the US market. Escobar realized, whoever controls the logistics infrastructure controls the game. He shifted transportation from manual smuggling to an industrial scale. His first move was purchasing small cargo aircraft, such as Cessnas and Pipers, capable of taking off and landing on makeshift airstrips hidden deep in the jungle. As supply volumes grew, Escobar partnered with Carlos Leder to pull off a stunning asset acquisition, buying out Norman's Cay, a small island in the Bahamas, located just 340 kilometers off the coast of Florida. Norman's Cay quickly transformed into a centralized logistics hub. They constructed a reinforced airstrip over 1,000 meters long, deployed early warning radar systems, built cold storage warehouses, and armed private patrol forces. Operational workflow: large aircraft took off from Colombia and landed at Norman's Cay to refuel and offload cargo. Distribution: the cargo was broken down and reloaded onto go-fast boats or high-speed hydroplanes, blending into the heavy maritime traffic of Florida to pierce the mainland. At its peak, Norman's Cay processed up to 300 kilograms of cocaine per day. Unit transportation costs plummeted to a minimum, while market throughput surged to dozens of tons per month. When the US government tightened airspace controls, the Medellín Cartel immediately invested in R&D. They hired marine engineers to construct self-built submarines, narco subs, out of fiberglass, designed to operate as semi-submersibles. The radar signature of these vessels was practically zero. Each submarine cost about $1 million to manufacture, but could carry between 5 and 10 tons of cargo. For Escobar, this was a straightforward cost-benefit equation. He treated the submarine as a disposable container. Even if a vessel was seized or scuttled after its maiden voyage, the profits from a single successful run covered the manufacturing costs 100 times over. The governance structure of the Medellin Cartel was not a centralized military dictatorship. Instead, it operated as a holding company allied with independent contractors. Escobar acted as the CEO with a controlling interest. Under his corporate umbrella were specialized satellite nodes. The Ochoa family handled political and legal relations. Rodriguez Gacha managed security and production plantations, and hundreds of decentralized distribution networks operated inside the U.S. Escobar established a franchising and risk insurance ecosystem. If an independent contractor wanted to utilize the cartel's infrastructure, airstrips, submarines, they paid Escobar a 20% to 30% cut of the shipment's value. In return, if a shipment was seized by the DEA, Escobar reimbursed the financial losses from a collective reserve fund. To police this system in a stateless environment, the ultimate tool for contract enforcement was a simple Dubai doctrine: plata o plomo, silver or lead. Applying game theory, plata o plomo was a highly cost-effective optimization strategy designed to neutralize public institutions. Escobar knew that every police chief, judge, or congressman had a specific fear threshold and a price tag. If they chose plata, accepting cash, they secured a fortune equivalent to a lifetime of honest wages. If they chose plomo, refusal, the cost incurred was the execution of themselves and their entire families. By driving the cost of integrity to an absolute extreme, Escobar effectively castrated the Colombian judicial system. Bribe expenses were factored directly into fixed operational costs, turning systemic corruption into a form of soft infrastructure that shielded the enterprise. Escobar's primary obstacle was never product liquidation. It was reintegrating mountains of illicit cash into the legitimate banking system without triggering anti-money laundering (AML) filters. Method 1, physical laundering. Cash from the US was tightly vacuum-packed and concealed inside commercial cargo containers containing industrial machinery imported back into Colombia. There, Escobar established front companies with high cash turnover, such as taxi fleets, hotel chains, casinos, and real estate development. Illicit cash was commingled with daily legitimate revenues, taxed and integrated as clean capital. Method 2, international banking. The cartel converted Panama under the regime of Manuel Noriega into their personal laundering facility. Local banks accepted cash deposits with zero source verification, digitized them into offshore accounts, and routed the clean equity back into securities, bonds, and luxury real estate within the United States. Escobar's most brilliant political risk mitigation strategy was investing heavily in social capital. To neutralize the looming threat of extradition to the United States, he engineered a civilian human shield. Escobar funneled hundreds of millions of dollars into the Medellin Without Slums initiative, provisioning free brick housing for the impoverished, building illuminated soccer fields, schools, and medical clinics. Economically, this was a marketing campaign disguised as political insurance. The capital expenditures were marginal relative to total revenues, but the dividends were priceless. He bought the unyielding loyalty of tens of thousands of marginalized citizens, effectively turning the slums into a civilian counterintelligence network that tracked and reported law enforcement movements. His financial hubris reached its apex when he was elected as an alternate member of the Colombian Congress in 1982. He went so far as to offer to liquidate Colombia's entire $10 billion national sovereign debt out of his own pocket in exchange for the revocation of the extradition treaty. Every economic model based on violence bears the seeds of its own destruction. The Medellin Cartel collapsed not due to a depletion of supply or demand, but due to the consequences of its own inflationary violence. When the Colombian government resolutely enforced extradition under American pressure, Escobar shifted from a business tycoon to a state terrorist. He used money to bomb newsrooms, blow up a commercial airliner carrying 107 passengers, assassinate presidential candidates, and offer cash rewards for every police officer's head. This madness shattered the equilibrium of game theory. The cost of compromising with Escobar, Plata, now exceeded the cost of eliminating him. The U.S. deployed sophisticated tools to freeze bank accounts and shut down money laundering rings. Norman's Cay was dismantled. Former allies within the cartel turned their backs, forming the paramilitary group Los Pipis to hunt him down, for fear of having the entire industry dragged down. On December 2, 1993, Pablo Escobar was shot dead on a rooftop in Medellin. Prior to that, the man who once possessed $30 billion and ranked among Forbes' wealthiest people on the planet had to burn $2 million in cash during a single winter night in the mountains just to keep his sick daughter warm. It was the clearest testament. Cash, when severed from the circulation system, is nothing more than scraps of paper. Escobar fell, but the shadow economic model did not disappear. Succeeding cartel generations like Cali or current Mexican organizations have learned from Escobar's governance failure. They eliminated overt violence, chose to operate silently, and utilized cryptocurrencies and sophisticated underground banking networks to weave deeper into the global financial bloodstream.